It's kind of gonna make everyone sad. I mean, at least one of you two. I have never been to Dynamo, and I have never been to El Gringo.
Oh, it's a sunny day today, and I don't want to stay with you under the sun. Oh, under the sun.
Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth episode of Radio Turku. Welcome to Turku, the Paris of the North without the Parisian. Here are your hosts, Noemi and...
And it's a beautiful day today in Turku. I am your host, Simon. And as you said, welcome to Turku, capital of Finland, capital of the world, capital of parties. Today we have with us two party animals.
Yeah, because this episode is about party life in Turku. We are today with Daniel.
Hello, I'm Daniel.
And Robert.
Hey, it's Robert.
Can you introduce a bit yourself, Robert?
Well, I was thinking about how to introduce myself, and this time I chose several words. So I'm going to introduce myself as a dance artist, which I like saying. I think I've been recently growing a lot as an artist. I've been really into dancing these past 2 or 3 years, and it's become a bit of an identity and, well, definitely a passion as well, besides my political science studies, which I'm still doing. And yeah, you could say I'm a party animal. I like partying, I like going to places, I like meeting people, and I'm excited to be here talking about these things today. Thank you.
I would just add that you were known before we met as the man of Dynamo, the dancer of Dynamo, because you are dancing almost every night there.
Very often, yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive. Every time I'm wondering, wow, he's doing so much sport, because for how long are you dancing in the nightclub?
Yeah, for several hours. It really counts as cardio. You
Yeah,
know?
really?
But you need to keep in mind, don't drink. Like, it's really, if you keep drinking at the same time as you dance, then that's a bad combination. You will wreck your health.
Yeah,
Very good
I must say
advice.
that you've got the vibes, because yesterday was the first time I ever met you. And from the very beginning, I could already get the vibes. And why was Noemi always saying, like, oh my God, you've got to meet this person. He's like the embodiment of the energy of a nightclub such as Dynamo, you know, it's like...
Embodying.
That's so lovely.
And now we have Daniel.
So I guess my introduction is a bit lamer than Robert's, to be honest. So I'm Daniel. I'm originally from Venezuela, and I came to Finland to do my master's in IT. So I am actually a computer nerd. I am not that much of a party animal, although my friends think otherwise. The reality is that I really like going out, especially at night. I'm a bit of a night owl, so if I'm not programming at night, I'm most likely out there doing something. And I also enjoy like meeting people and, just looking where the night will take me. You never know what's going to happen.
I think that you are a night animal also, because
Okay.
really of
And a
night...
party animal, really.
Yeah, I got messages from Daniel, hey, we need to go out, and me, I'm kind of I heard sohvaperuna.
Sohvaperuna.
Yes.
That I stay in my bed or in my sofa while Daniel is partying hardcore.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I've been bumping into this guy a lot.
It is true. It is true.
If I'm there and he's there, then that has to mean something.
Yeah.
You're a bit of
is
a party
true.
animal.
I am a bit of a party animal. I lied, guys.
I think we should precise that Robert is the king of Dynamo and Daniel is the king of El Gringo.
Yeah,
awesome.
that works for me. That works for me. It's two very different atmospheres, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Even though they're like basically right next to each other, to me they mean completely different things. When you are in Gringo, you are one person, and the moment that you go into Dynamo, it's like you need to be someone else,
Agreed.
basically.
For the auditors who don't know what El Gringo is, it's a bar in the center of Turku next to the nightclub Dynamo that are both in front of the main library for the students who are really hardworking.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so
I've been in the library like 3 times, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
But they still
yeah,
graduated.
usually people, they work all day in the library, then they go to El Gringo to get wasted, and then to Dynamo,
Exactly.
I guess.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
I hope.
Right.
And now we're going to start with a short game. We asked you to prepare one truth, one lie. Now we'll keep this title for the game. Daniel, you're ready with your book?
Yes, I have my notes.
You
Can
look
you
like you're gonna
start?
do a speech.
I
you
am
know?
now an old man, so if I don't write things down, I forget them. So that's why I have my notebook with me almost every time.
Okay, so first round, Danielito
Daniel.
start.
Okay, so this was during random night out. I think I must have landed in one of the student parties. This must have been either in Maryland or in Vegas. I was there that night, and it must have been a student party from the IT people, so Digit or something, or there were several of them. It's very common, IT people tend to make bigger parties. Well, I don't know, like I must have met some group of people that I seem to be really friendly with. And the morning after, when I wake up and I'm checking my phone, like, okay, what did I do last night? There's always pictures or something to kind of guide you. I had like 25 tabs open, and I had notes about making plans for me and for other people to go to the ski resort in Levi. And like we had travel dates, we had accommodations, like we hadn't paid for anything, but everything was more or less like planned out. And the thing is that I didn't have any new contacts in my phone. I have no idea with whom I planned this. So
They are still waiting for you.
yeah, probably.
Maybe we are in Levi, Lapland.
Yeah, they're still waiting for like the second part of the schedule to come back. And yeah, that night I either worked as a free travel agent, and I basically made this plan for some other people, and they wait and enjoyed it.
So we need to know if it's true or false.
Yeah, do you want to listen to the other one first?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
But it was so well told that now I
Yeah,
want
I
to
mean,
say
It
it's
was
true.
very entertaining.
It's good.
Okay, for my second anecdote, or for my second story, one night after Heides, I think this was during the time that the places weren't open until too long. Like
Because
until
of COVID?
Yeah, exactly. Because of the restrictions that I had. I think they were closing around 12 or maybe 1. And someone decided like, hey, let's have an after party, which was the norm back then, that, after going to like the limited time that you had at a disco, you would go to an after party. I just went with like 2 of my friends that I was with. I ended up in someone's house, and then I noticed actually the person hosting us didn't really want to have an after party at their place. And at some point I caught the host kind of like crying a little bit, anxious that they had a lot of people at their place, and it was kind of like forced by the rest of the group, and just sitting around in the corner moping a little bit in their own house while the rest of us were like drinking and having fun, and that kind of atmosphere. So this is a real story, or is it not? But the important thing, regardless of it's real or not, is that, guys, remember that if you go to an after party, make sure that the host actually wants you there.
He's such a good storyteller.
I so
Very
want,
He's too
convincing.
good.
I so want to believe in the levy.
I'm pretty sure I heard one of them, so I will not say which one. I will not vote. I will wait for you
Yeah,
guys.
I guess it doesn't help that Noemi and me and our friends, and we share a lot, so outside of the podcast.
But I'm not sure. I think I've heard one of them.
Okay. Well,
Robert.
So one of these is true, the other one is
Yeah.
a lie.
Levy or crying host.
yes.
The crying host sounds very believable. It's something that could happen.
But
The
the
other one
levy-
was a bit crazier. But I'm actually going to say the crazy one. The first one was true, and the second one was a lie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my instinct.
The crying host is true. Yeah.
I think the
Okay.
crying one is true.
All right. Yeah, Noemi and Simon are correct. I did
yeah.
never make plans with people I don't know to go to Levi.
Very sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very sad. I so wanted to imagine a group of people waiting for you up there in Levi, Lapland. And
Honestly, I really want to go to Levi, so that's why I wrote it down. Like, okay, maybe this will serve as inspiration for people who don't know me. Like, invite me to Levi because I want to go.
But he told it very convincingly. It was very
Yeah.
entertaining.
What
Thank
do
you.
you do when the host is crying and you are at
I
the after
think,
party?
like, me and the group of like my close friends, we decided to leave not long after because it was really weird to be there and like kind of like understand that there's this. I don't mind that my friends are over, but I wasn't also expecting like 7 other random people to show up at my
Yeah.
house, and it was kind of weird. Fun times were had, but still not at the cost of someone else.
Yeah, that's a good lesson. Good lesson.
Lesson has been learned.
1 point for me. I don't count. I had heard it. Simon, 1 point.
1 point for me.
Let's
Zero
go,
for me.
Robert.
That was really cool. So mine are just going to be like sentences.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
They're
I
going
was
to be-
expecting sentences. He went crazy.
But that was very, like, they all started very believable. Mine are just going to be sentences. They're going to be a bit sensational because I wanted them to be, like, funny and very short. The first sentence is, I played a DJ set alongside Jori Hulkkonen. He's quite famous, I would say. He's been in the music industry for a long time, producing lots of music. Plays in a band called Cinco Stan. It's like a synth pop group. I'm just a starting DJ. This is a new thing to me, a new territory to conquer. One time I got to play next to him, with him. That was sentence number one. Sentence number two, I've been paid to dance at a club in Turku. So I've been paid to just get my ass on the dance floor and dance the night away.
And create the atmosphere, because I think that's basically what you're being paid for. That people see you dancing and then they're like, hey, you know what? I also want to dance. I guess, okay, that sounds...
Yeah. So I've been paid to do that in Turku. That's sentence number two. So now you can guess which one is true and which one is not.
Okay.
I also think I heard one of them. So I will not participate.
No, I think you should.
Okay. Let's wait, see you guys.
Okay, I guess...
Daniel, you go first because...
Yeah, I can start. All right. So, while I do think a nightclub would definitely and should definitely pay you to go dancing because
I
it's
agree.
always a spectacle, I want to believe that you did the DJ set next to this very well-known DJ just because I think it would be so cool to actually play alongside like a well-known person, and that...
Do you know him?
I don't know him
Okay.
really,
That's
but
fine.
I have heard of the name of the band that I know you just mentioned and I forgot it
Cinco
already.
Stan.
Cinco Stan, yeah. So I'm hoping that is a true one.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard so much about your dancing skill that I would like to imagine you being paid for dancing, but I'm a bit of a mentalist. I watched the two others' facial reaction, so I think I'm gonna go with the DJ set.
I will go with the DJ set.
And turns out you're all correct. So I played indeed a
And we
DJ
can
set
thank
alongside
him.
Jori Hulkkonen. It was very, I asked him and he told me that he does not remember last time when he did anything like this, like when he played
God.
alongside a starting DJ. So that was,
Oh.
I felt really privileged. It was a great night.
Can you say his name again?
Jori Hulkkonen.
Jori. Okay.
As for dancing at a club and getting paid, I had been paid to dance at a club, but it was not in Turku, it was in Helsinki.
There you
It was
go.
called by the
that
capital.
was kind of half truth.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, but
trying
like
to
I
trick
said,
us.
in Turku.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's an
Not in
important point.
Turku, but
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Helsinki.
So
it happened once.
you have a dancing career in Helsinki.
Yeah, well, you could say I'm working on it, yeah.
Oh la la.
There's a lot of
Already a
work to do.
professional. Hey, the moment you make a cent out of whatever passion project you have, you're already a professional.
Yeah, for real.
Remember, professional means getting paid for things.
And let me
It's
tell you, it was a
true,
bit more
it's
than a
very
cent.
Oh.
Of course, it surely was. But like, what I mean is, like, the moment you get paid for something, you're a professional at it. So
There was
Guys, start dancing. Go to Dynamo. Daniel,
I told my two anecdotes.
okay. Then we have the second set of Robert.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
also
right.
have one truth and one lie if you
No,
want.
you have.
Yes.
It's kind of gonna make everyone sad. I mean, at least one of you two. I have never been to Dynamo, and I have never been to El Gringo.
So those are your sentences.
Yeah, one of them is a truth, one of them is a lie.
Sadissimo, I think we need to change this collaboration.
Yeah, I know, but without giving you the answer, I have to say I'm very sad about it. I just don't like to go to.
Those kind of places. Don't kill it before we
Yeah,
say the
I
answer.
don't like to do all these kind of places alone, and no one ever wanted to go with me.
I thought you were going to say I don't like the kind of people. In
Oh no.
Okay, may I start voting?
Go.
I think that Simone has never been to El Gringo.
Robert.
I think the other way around. I think you've never been to Dynamo.
I'm highly disappointed, but you've never been to Helgringo, most likely.
I've never been to El Gringo.
Catastrophe.
It's very hard to go there on your own, and
No, it's the most like the easiest bar to go on your own, I think.
Well, I've always heard of people going there on the group, so I'm still waiting for you guys to invite me.
It's super small. I think it's the cozy atmosphere that attracts people.
But maybe the size can be also intimidating because everyone can see you if you go alone. So
Yes.
maybe-
That's exactly the reason why I never
Ah.
dare to go alone,
hear you.
because
Okay.
it seems so small.
Okay.
And every time I walk in front of it, I always see groups of people there. So you kind of feel like, okay. But I will follow your advices and try to go there.
I think
and
it's a nice bar to go alone, and the owner is really nice.
Yeah,
and
Pia is really nice too. Is the owner and the bartender, I would call it that way. And I think it's one of these places I got used to going there with at least one friend at the start. And depending on how the night goes, like how the night atmosphere in Turku is that night, you will meet people because people will sit next to you very close. So
Yeah.
it helps that,
True.
for example, you already speak Finnish. I don't. So people usually come to me, they speak Finnish very drunkenly, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I know some Finnish, but definitely can't. I can't answer to this
But
right
maybe
now.
when drunk, you can speak Finnish. Suddenly.
Oh, I definitely can't. That only worked with German.
yeah,
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
going to say German
that's-
works.
no magic happens.
No, magic.
No,
But
no.
man, I've definitely been to Dynamo, and yeah, I know half of the deal. So
Yeah.
Okay, next anecdote.
So I go with my next anecdote. This one is also a Gringo anecdote.
Oh,
people, you're gonna want to go to El Gringo because
Well,
you're gonna hear a lot of it.
This one might be more complicated for example, Noemi to guess if it's true or
Okay.
not, because this is what basically my nights are in what a normal night out for Daniel means. I went to Dynamo with a group of people. We were about 12 people. To Gringo, 12 people. We were celebrating either something or someone, birthday or whatever. I think I was already so in the mood by the time we got there that I told Pia, I need you to play that salsa album that you have. And I danced with absolutely everyone in Gringo that night. Like people I didn't know, Finnish people, other like international students, whatever. Like I went there and I danced with like 25 people that night.
so cool.
And afterwards, I went to Dynamo, and by the time I got to Dynamo, I was so tired from dancing salsa that I didn't dance the rest of the night. I was just sitting somewhere in a corner in Dynamo because, tired. So
Okay,
that's anecdote one.
and I know he dances like the devil.
No,
Oh yeah, I've seen you. Like you actually taught me
Salsa man.
merengue.
a little bit of merengue,
Yeah.
yes.
And I think that now every chances I get to go to a nightclub or something and dance, well, your face comes back to my mind.
Oh my God.
Holding your jacket and doing this, and you actually unwillingly taught me to dance.
Yeah, true. I did. But that happened last Vappu. You're right. Yeah. And the second anecdote is one time I went to, God, I always forget the name of this place. Starts with Utopia. And they were having a metal concert. It was me and 3 other friends, and we decided, hey, guys, let's just join the mosh pit because it's kind of fun. So we were, pushing around and everything was fine. And then at some point during the mosh pit, some guy really comes in, but not looking to be at the mosh pit, but rather to punch everyone in the face. So this guy got dragged out by like 3 or 4 security people. It was really a sight to see someone getting like dragged out of a mosh pit because he really overdid it. Imagine how violent you have to be in a mosh pit that you get kicked out.
Yeah, especially in Finland, because there are not many people who are fighting. Like in France, it's super common to have people punching each other in a bar. In Finland, I saw it once.
But yeah, those are my 2 anecdotes.
I honestly
very
don't know
violent
which
mosh
one.
pit, or me dancing with 25 people because I had already had maybe 1 too many drinks.
I'm going to go for the metal one because I can imagine a drunk Finn starting to want to punch people.
So
I
that
don't
one's your
imagine.
fake.
I think that's the
Okay.
that's the real one.
That's a real one. Okay.
Yeah, to me that's the truth.
I don't see a Finnish person punching people, so I will vote for 25 salsa partners.
Okay.
I'm with Noemi on this. I think the first one was true and the second one was a lie.
You guys are right. I danced with at least 20 people that night. But it is true that I once went to a metal concert and I saw someone getting kicked out of the concert, but not because he was violent on the mosh pit, but rather because he was spilling everyone else's drinks.
That is violence.
Peeling a drink?
Spilling. No, you can't kill
What
a
is
drink.
this American?
That thing that can be considered violence given the price of drinks.
Well, yeah. Actually, if the beer costs like €7, I will get pissed if you come and
And
just
also-
throw my drink.
Where he spilled them, like on other people.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
Robert, last set of anecdotes.
So my anecdotes are number one. I've been to a party that was raided by the police.
Interesting.
Oh, we are living in the
Like
US.
they
kind of.
came in, we had to go out, and it was a raid, not a pleasant one. So
Dark
and
Robert.
sentence number two. I've been to a fetish party.
The fetish party. I vote for the fetish party.
Yeah, me
The
too.
theme was dark leather.
vote.
Okay, I vote twice.
In Finland, I vote
Definitely
Like
the fetish
that.
party.
So those are my sentences.
fetish.
Yes, fetish party is true.
Or maybe Robert has a criminal record.
And that's actually true. So I've been to a fetish party.
Did
it was
you know?
I actually did know. I was actually very into it. But when you say, like, when we define a fetish party, it's not like people are, having an orgy on the dance floor.
No.
Like, it's more about, like, there was, like, a dress code. And the dress code was black, leather, latex,
Kind of like
sexy,
BDSM.
chains.
Yeah.
Kind of BDSM, but not like, people were not having sex there. So it was not like
You were
that
just
kind of occasion.
exchanging numbers.
No, not even that.
No,
Like it was
okay.
just a party. People were dancing, and well, I can actually tell you about this event later because it was.
But we can start now.
But-
I'm really
well,
curious.
okay, because this was actually my best party experience.
Perfect.
which
That's
would
the
be-
transition to the next part.
So
questions.
would you like me to tell about this event then?
Tell us.
So this event was co-created by my friend Rodriguez, and it's called Duro. Duro is a rave concept, a fairly recent one, where you have a dress code, which I think is super cool. So the reason why this is my best party is that it feels elevated. So we're talking about a rave concept where there's a dress code. It takes place in well, they call it like a secret bunker, but in a location that's not given to you. So you have to know the right people to get in, and also to know where it really happens. And there was a dress code, and there was also an art exhibition at the rave. So whilst you're dancing there and enjoying the music, enjoying the outfits, people are so creative with these outfits. It's really cool. There's also an art exhibition which you can enjoy on your way to the toilet, which is, I think, really cool. Like, you see these sculptures or I don't know, paintings on the walls, and it was really, I felt like it was a whole experience, and everything was very truthful to the aesthetic that they were going for. So black, the lights were red, and the art pieces were kind of grim and dark, and I really enjoyed that. It was such a great experience, and I wish I could see something like this again, because I feel that I've been to a lot of parties and they often tend to be more or less the same, maybe a bit mismatched. You have tons of DJs playing different kinds of music, which is, I mean, nice. I love different kinds of music, but that was a whole concept and a whole experience, and everything felt, sort of unified. So I was very drawn to that, and I felt like I was living like as if I was someone else, as if I was a character and these other people were also characters, and we shared this moment.
All right.
So it's
really
like an
great.
intellectual rave with a bit like a theater performance, because
bit like a
everyone has a
performance.
character. You see.
Yeah, everyone has their own outfit.
It's again like an improv show in the end. Like you're improvising the character during the.
A bit like that, yeah. And I mean, if you ever been to a rave, people
Never
are
been.
dancing on their own. They don't mind others. No one, no one's going to walk up to you and tell you what you wear. Like, why are you here? Like, no one's going to question your presence in the room. Like,
So it's like
everyone-
a safe space in a
It's
way.
very much a safe space.
Okay,
yeah.
strange, because with the theme I would really expect some sexual tension or.
No, not there. They were very strict about who gets to be invited, because I was invited to that event.
Okay.
So it
So
was
they select a bit the people before, so there are no incidents.
a bit, yeah. But also, like, if you happen to know the organizers, if you happen to know the right people, I mean, then you just sort of I guess, find your way there.
Oh la la.
Yeah.
But it was very private.
Yeah, very private. I've never heard of parties.
But they,
like,
but
good.
they do have an Instagram account, so they do post stuff on Instagram, and they're very public about their events. But they don't, obviously, when you go to a rave, you don't take pictures and
I guess.
they also don't post pictures. Maybe some like trailers or stuff like that to hype people up. But other than that, it's very discreet. So no location is given.
Okay.
And the location is always referred to as like secret bunker or something, and very underground as well.
Can you say the name again?
Duro.
So I have something to share about this. I was not personally invited to Duro the first time it
so
happened.
you know it.
But I do know
Oh
it.
my God, Simon, we are living
But-
Do you know
in
Rodriguez?
another city.
Do you know Rodriguez?
The thing is that I don't know him personally, but since he is Latino, he is
Yeah.
more or less known inside the Latino community, and
That's what I
I do
thought,
know him.
yeah.
Yes, like I know who he is, and I have heard about the parties, and at least the explanation that he wanted to have something very Berlin-inspired kind of
exactly.
rave in Turku, like really piqued my
Okay.
interest.
Okay, super interesting because I had really not heard of it.
So
Me
I
neither.
guess
I already heard that there was this kind of event.
Really?
Yeah, but never.
It's completely new to me.
I guess this goes to show like to the people who are interested in like more like the underground scene of Turku.
Yeah.
Turku has a lot of underground things going on all the time. You just need to get out there and meet the people who
Yeah, and
organize
Really?
them.
And like as you said, Robert, like it was kind of secret and such, so you don't really know the things. But if you meet the people, as Daniel say, it's not hard to start hearing about these things.
Rumors.
You start hearing rumors quite easily, but then, rumors are easy to hear, but getting there
Okay.
is a.
That's a
Is a
really good
difference.
introduction part.
And I would also like to say that it's still easy to get involved. So it's not about even if you knew the people, like they wouldn't be like, okay, you need to look a certain way, you have to be a certain type of character to get involved. Like it's none of that. Like it's actually very easy to get involved, but they just they want to maintain this safe space. They want to know. What kind of people are
It's a bit
entering the
curated,
space.
you
Yeah,
would
it's a
say,
bit curated,
curated,
and I think it's an advantage. Maybe some people might view it as a disadvantage because it's sort of, I mean, it might discriminate some people because it's not entirely public. But I think it's great because it creates a safe space where people can indeed
Experiment.
put
over-
on like a black latex swimsuit and have fun without having to.
Be judged or be considered.
Exactly.
I guess for a girl also, if you know that the people have been selected, you have the caution like, okay, I will be protected in a way.
Exactly, because people here know each other basically. So
Yeah.
it's not like I'm going into a room full of randos who I don't know anything about.
Exactly. So you're more likely to let go, and because you feel free, you can do
Okay.
that.
When you go in a public events in Turku, like Ilmiö this weekend, in Ilmiö I saw a lot of people dressed like maybe not with a leather swimsuit, but in extravagant way,
Yeah.
we could say. And that's what
Flamboyant.
yeah, that's what I meant. I really think that in France, in public festival like that, public events, I think people will still try to keep it not too extravagant
Yeah,
because
and
they still will be
practical.
they will still be afraid to be judged. While in Finland, like honestly, in Ilmiö, there were people basically wearing fishnets and such, and it was like a public free event, like really family friendly and such. So I was like, wow, that's how open-minded Finland can be.
But in Ilmiö, they are also guards at the entrance,
Yeah.
checking who is entering.
Yeah,
And I think they remove people who are too high or too drunk. I think they check a bit that people are not sick. People there is some security checking also. Okay, but Daniel, can you give us your best or worst party in Turku?
Well, I can tell you for sure one of my worst experiences.
Oh my God.
And it was, I think, right after the restrictions from COVID were lifted in Turku. So, bars were open again until 3, 4 in the morning. And I remember going once to Saaristobari, and it was just horrible to be there. I did not enjoy myself. And, there's a point in the party where you say, okay, maybe what's going on is that I'm too sober for these people. So I just proceeded to go to the bar. I ordered 2 gin tonics, and I'm, just drinking them as fast as I can to try to get into the mood. And I think I ended up leaving Saaristo at around 12 or 1 because I just couldn't find myself in that party. Maybe it was my own fault. I think the crowd was too young for me. So
How
I just didn't feel part of the whole thing. And even my friends were there. I had lots of like Erasmus friends, so a lot of people were here on exchange. But the reality is that a lot of the people who come from exchange are usually younger than me, at least 6 years, let's say on average. So of course I was just there being an old man in a Saaristo that's like very young oriented. I'm just like, okay, I am not feeling this, guys.
Yeah, because Saaristobar is, I mean, I've heard that it had great parties.
Yeah, I mean, they used to have very, very, very good parties. I went to a couple of like the Latino events that they had. I went to one glow party that was quite cool.
Yeah, glow party is fun.
Maybe at some point, like to me, just stopped making sense to be there, and just the atmosphere was never the same as like the few first times I went. That was like great times. For one of my best times, not the best, but one of my best times actually, Latino party that they had in Saaristobari. But then I swear, in like a span of like 4 months, it just became horrible. And I think nowadays Saaristo kind of like lost a lot of the audience to Prism, the new club that is also near where El Gringo and Dynamo are. And I think they pulled a lot of like this younger audience, but now Saaristobari is just not as active as it used to be. At least that's how I felt the evolution in these last 3 years that I've been living here.
Yeah, I think that in Turku you have a big difference between the bars that are popular among Finnish people and the ones that are more popular among Erasmus exchange
For example,
students.
Heidi's.
So Heidi's,
Always, all the internationals end up there.
Saaristobari, and sometimes Vegan Marilyn, but I think Vigas Marilyn is more.
Yeah, but that's
For
one
both of
that's one great thing in Turku. I think a lot of bars in Turku, like a lot of them are of their own identity. Like
Like Heidi's.
Forte is also, or
Forte.
used to be more popular, I think, because I've heard like from friends or people who graduated around the same time I did from my master's, and they told me like, yeah, when I just moved to Turku, the place to be was Forte, and then for a while it was Apollo. And at least the last time I went to Apollo, I felt that people were more along like my age. So I kind of understand
Give an
why.
average of age. I would say that, for example, in Heidi's Saaristo, it's between 18 to 25 maybe,
Yeah,
and after
and
it's more
I would
30s.
say, yes, I would say Apollo and Forte nowadays feel like the place, like you're 25 going towards 30, even maybe older,
Utopia
because that's
also.
just the feeling that it gives me. Utopia is also very event based, I think. So if you go to a random day in Utopia, probably also like more like the older audience is there. But I've been to concerts and I've also seen lots of young people doing stuff there. And now there's Uge Klubi in Utopia as well, that they play a lot of techno.
Yes, I've
mention.
been. Yeah, it was quite nice.
We've been there together actually.
Yeah, true.
yes.
It was the rave party.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
one of the rave-ish
True,
parties.
true.
Yeah, it was quite nice. Quite
Yeah,
nice.
I like
and
this
so
party.
is it true? I've never been to Vegas or Marilyn, but I heard that if you go there and you're 20-year-old, you're already too old at 20.
It depends. It depends on the
Depends on the
event.
party,
It depends on
yeah.
the party because,
Okay.
like, for example, the times I've been there, most of the times are for student parties. So usually it's just people from my studies groups, basically. And so it's sure. There's a new people that are starting their bachelors. There are people that are doing their masters, kind of thing. So it's more varied in that sense.
Okay.
Depends on where you go, when you go.
I have another question for you guys. You mentioned it a bit before, but I wanted to ask you more precisely, what are your main reasons to go party in Turku? Robert, maybe you can start.
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot, especially lately, and I think my main reason. So I have several reasons. Obviously, it's more complex than that. There's not just one reason. It's not just the music, but the music to me might still be like the most important thing. So if I don't vibe with the music, then I'm very likely to not enjoy that place so much. Of course, it really depends on the occasion. Sometimes you're going there, you're going in with a lot of friends and you're just there to socialize. Then the music is secondary and then you focus on socializing. But when I think about a night out, for me, the music is really important. And that really limits my options as well. So in Turku, I don't have many options because I enjoy the music at Dynamo mostly. I don't go to the other places. And even at Dynamo, they've got tons of different DJs. I don't always vibe with all of their music. So it really depends on the night. And that's something that you can also look up online, like who's playing
Yeah.
tonight, who's playing downstairs, who's playing upstairs. And I actually do that all the time. So I guess you could say I'm quite picky when it comes to music. But if I'm with friends, then obviously socializing is more important and the music becomes secondary. I also really greatly, okay, this is also another thing. So the music is important, but perhaps more so, like personally, it's the atmosphere. Like I have to feel safe. Like I'm a queer person. I look queer. I talk queer. I breathe queer. So I feel that when I go out with my friends or even on my own, which I do a lot too, I have to feel safe. So I don't go to places where I don't feel safe. And at the moment, I must say, at Dynamo, I feel the most safe. I think Uge Club is also a nice place. I've been there once. I felt very much safe, very entertained by the music as well. And Utopia has a good vibe as well.
Yeah,
but I
I
feel like
agree.
it really depends on the occasion. It depends on the event, like what kind of people it attracts that night. So, but for me, it's music, it's safe space, really important, and seeing friends.
Yeah, it's important, the safe part, and that's why also I really like Dynamo. But in Finland in general, I'm sure I will not get annoyed.
I've been to Dynamo so many times that obviously I've had nights when things didn't go too well.
Been there.
Yeah, so things have happened to me too, even though I like to say that it's the place where I feel the most safe. But, I've been to Dynamo like hundreds, if not thousands of times. So,
Yeah, thousands.
So out of those thousands of times, there are maybe not even a dozen, maybe like a handful of times that I've felt unsafe.
Fair enough.
But we're talking about like thousands of times.
Yeah,
so.
and it's normal in everyday life. There are moments where you have to meet people who are not the most,
Yeah,
the
not the most
nicest
friendly.
one.
Yeah. And I think even in the best crowds, there are some bad apples. So
Yeah,
so
for
it's
sure.
not
Especially when they are
perfect.
drunk or high.
Yeah, and sometimes, the wrong person enters the bar. But I still like to say that and emphasize that the crowd there tends to be a bit quirky, artsy, weird, like
Yeah.
me, and also very queer friendly, if not just like queer and also,
Yeah, I think Dynamo is very queer.
Yeah, I think it's very queer.
It's
yeah.
known at least as the queer.
Even though it's not
nightclub.
officially a gay club, I think it's de facto a gay club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also see it that
I
way. I
wouldn't
think.
feel
Yeah.
Daniel.
Yes, I think
Your main reasons.
my main reason is definitely the social aspect of going out. I am not so much of a solo goer to places. I actually struggle with this in general. Like doing things alone is not something that I always do. But for example, for me, my safe place to go alone somewhere would be Gringo, because I know I can just go there and have 1-2 beers and just be there. If I want to meet people, people will, for whatever reason, approach me. And there are just days where I'm like, I'm just sitting here, I'm having my beer, and then I will leave, and that's fine. But for me, it's definitely like a social thing. It's either I'm looking to meet people or I have a group that I definitely want to meet that night or during the week or whatever. And I think that would be like the main reason as to why I would go out during the night. It's very much a social thing for me. I definitely enjoy music as someone who makes music. Quote unquote, I make music. I don't, but
Who likes to play music?
I do like playing music, but yeah, I would say it's mostly the social thing. And when the music is really bad, I know I can just fall on my group of friends to just be entertained by it. And if the music is really good, then of course I enjoy it. But yeah, I would put it out there with socializing. And yeah, I don't want to skip on to the next question, but it has to do also with the next question.
But I think we can move on to the
No,
next
I would like to hear what does Simon look when he goes out?
So honestly, you might have noticed, I haven't been out as much as you guys. I just know a couple of nightclubs in Turku and a couple of bars. As you said, the social part is very, very important. As I mentioned before, I cannot go out if I don't have a group, like an actual group. Like not even 1 or 2 person is not enough.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, because it's very,
Picky
it's very
party.
no, but it's very hard for me to get in the vibe if I'm not with people. I've been to parties with only one or two other people, and I was just, like what happened to you in Saristobare, you're not feeling it.
Yeah,
so-
you don't integrate into the
Yeah.
atmosphere.
But
yeah.
when there's a group, then I start to feel the atmosphere, and then so that's why I would be looking the most. Yeah, the social experience, a lot of people, a lot of friends together, and the music, of course, because I love music and I quote unquote also make music. And
There you go.
but
We're all
but,
artists
yeah.
here.
But I would, if I really purely only want to enjoy music, I will go to a concert. The dance
okay.
club are really just for the vibing with people.
What about you, Noemi?
Me, I just like that people accept that I can do stupid things.
Well, I mean, I think all of us, at least in this table, accept that you do stupid things whenever you
but
do them.
when I'm going to party, Daniel can testify, I often don't drink.
Yes.
Because I like to do stupid, crazy things and to jump everywhere, but in the everyday life, you cannot do it in front of people.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you about Noemi trying to do parkour in Dynamo. So, very common occurrence, actually. It's happened more than twice.
I really like
I
to
can
do
definitely say
stupid
this.
things.
Upstairs or downstairs?
Both.
Everywhere.
Monkey.
Competition. Who can do the longest headstands in this sofa? Go.
Sometimes people think I'm completely drunk, but I'm just excited. But I have something that I hate when people want to force me to stay at a party. And this is one thing that I do. Sometimes I go with my friends, and at some point suddenly I'm like, oh, I'm done. And I would just leave to go home, because otherwise people will be like, no, stay 1 hour more. I hate this. So during my first Erasmus, it happened a lot with my roommates that they wanted to stay until 4, and me at midnight and a half, I was like, okay, guys, I'm done. I have partied. I have done enough stupid things. And I was
Yeah.
just escaping.
when the vibe is gone, it's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that Daniel, he can stay, and
I
then
can.
he gets
I am
again
easy.
in the
I am
mood.
easy to convince, and I am easy to bounce back into a good mood.
Exactly. Me, it's like, it's enough. I had enough fun. It's time to sleep.
Last Vapu, you amazed me. Like, I've seen you staying in the party vibes from morning to midnight or 1 a.m., like 12 full hours of drinking, dancing, and vibing.
But
Well,
yeah, if you
that-
party with
I mean-
Daniel, then you can
That's-
stay longer.
That's crazy.
Okay. But we had a nice transition with alcohol, because we are in the country that has a big problem with alcoholism, I think. And that's why there are many laws to try reduce the consumption of alcohol. So, for example, the alcohol shops close at 9, or in supermarket you cannot buy alcohol after 9. They are really strict with the IDs when you buy alcohol at the store.
I like drinking. Guys, I like drinking. I wouldn't say it's a problem. I wouldn't say it's something that I have to do. But I think I am very much at peace with myself. And, you've definitely met people out there who need alcohol to become someone else. Or like when they drink, they are some other person. And I don't know if it's because I have managed my alcohol consumption during, I don't know, my life, that I know very well who I am when I'm sober, and I am that same person when I'm drinking, just a little bit more intense, I would say. I just tend to bounce into better moods while I'm drinking and I'm out with friends, for example. But it's not something that like I do. I, for example, don't really enjoy drinking alone at my place. That's very boring. And other than the very rare occasion that I actually go alone to Gringo, it's not like I go there and I have 50 beers or something. It's just like I have 1, 2, and then I leave because I just needed like the break. And it also feels a little bit more social, even if I'm not talking with anyone, that I'm just sitting in a place where a lot of people are drinking, and then I have my couple of beers and I'm like, okay, that's enough for me. But yes, I am someone who drinks volumes of alcohol. I am not going to lie.
I would be dead.
Yeah, when you started coming to Finland, did you discover new alcohol that are purely Finnish or served on mostly in Finland and that
Definitely,
are
that's
wonderful?
Lonkero, yes. I really like Lonkero. It was a
Revelation.
nice thing to discover in Finland.
I would totally agree. I was not really a drinking person before, but now Lonkero kind of
It changed.
Really?
yeah, it changes you.
It's just soda with
Come
alcohol.
on.
It has a nice taste. Usually I take it with ice, so it's like refreshing kind of thing. It's really nice to have like a drink that's basically like half of it is ice, so it's quite good. The only problem I have with Lonkero and in general sweet drinks is that I try not to take alcohol with sugar because that's actually when you feel bad the day after. Because if you're just sticking to, for example, I don't know, beers, I can surely have like 5 or 6 in a night and wake up the next morning and be like, okay, I'm tired because I didn't sleep, like probably because, I had to wake up to do stuff. But I'm usually feeling like quite okay. The nights that I've been out drinking lonkaro or some other sweet stuff, those are the days when I wake up and I'm like, okay, I shouldn't
That
drink.
was harsh.
I shouldn't drink 6 lonkaros in a night. That's not a good idea. But yeah.
Okay. And Robert, as a Finnish person.
Well, this is going to sound very different. So I used to drink, let's say. I still do drink, but very rarely. So I used to drink a lot when I went out and partied, like other young students who just started their studies. But in recent years, I have not been drinking nearly as much as I used to. Actually, often I don't drink at all. It's become a bit of a joke that at Dynamo, where you bump into me at, let's say, midnight, past midnight, that you could see a drink in my hand that is tea. And actually,
Yes, I have seen this. I can attest
You've
to
seen
this.
this.
That's cool.
and it became a bit of a joke, and I've been ordering it since. It's my first drink. Every time I go there, I order a glass of tea, a cup of tea.
So
And-
nice.
And I'm there still to party. Like, I'm not there to get ready to sleep. Like, I'm there to party. And so I have not been drinking that much at all recently. However, I do still occasionally, I do still like at the music festival this week at Ilmiö, I actually did drink because I felt like, okay, now I could have like cider or two and have a great night. So I'm not opposed to drinking.
Yeah.
But I don't really get the thrill anymore. So for me, alcohol is not something that I need to enjoy a party. And I do have to add, because I was talking about those raves earlier, so I do have to add, there's a common misconception that everyone at the rave is using drugs. And that's also not
I
the
still
case.
have this cliche.
Yeah, that's not the case. Even though people might be really into the music and you might be wondering,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I mean, lately in Finland, I've even started to see sort of rave. I don't know if they're really rave, but similar electro event that are even alcohol
Free. Yeah,
alcohol
it's
free.
true.
And that's
It's true.
cool. That's cool. That's the first time I've seen that.
I was really
Yeah,
surprised.
there's a concept called Sober Furious.
Yeah.
Yeah, they organize events where
That's
you have
crazy.
like they serve like mocktails and such. And actually, there was a Sober Furious event, I think, at Dynamo last year or earlier this year.
That's a great concept.
Recently. Yeah. But at the rave, it's very common to bump into people who have not been drinking and who don't use drugs. Like me. They're completely sober, just enjoying the music, enjoying the atmosphere. It's enough to carry them away to their own worlds and to their own imagination. And I'm definitely one of those people. For me, alcohol is a sensation that I enjoy, but it's not something that I need to get into that party mood,
Yeah, I kind of relate to this because when I arrived during my first Erasmus exchange, I was not a party person. And my roommate really encouraged me to go out. And I remember the first night where I really went out, they made me drink a bit. And I was, how do you say, tipsy?
Yes.
Tipsy.
Yeah.
But in a good way. And I really, really enjoyed the party. That's one of the only good party I had at ITs, I need to confess.
So not that much hate for the Heidi's.
Yeah, this
because I
was a great
remember
party.
I remember a certain second episode of this podcast where I heard a lot of trash being thrown at IDs.
Yeah, because after I came back one day when I was sober and it was terrible.
It was not the same. In Finland, I see that a lot. Finns who are
People tend to change
Completely.
dramatically. It's because there are people who seem to be very shy or
Yeah.
not close. I don't think that's the right word to explain it. But the moment that they drink some alcohol,
They are
they
so
become
friendly
and
social
funny.
butterflies out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
In Finland, I think that's where I've noticed it the most. Like some people being
change.
actually different
Yeah.
person.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also a thing I love here is, as you mentioned, that all these kind of places that we mentioned today, you can have tea at night. And I don't know if in France you can have tea in a nightclub.
But it's something that I've noticed sometimes other people come to me and they also show off their cup of tea or whatever, and they are like, well, I'm also sober. I'm not drinking anything, but I'm here having a good time, enjoying the music.
Yeah.
And
He's starting a trend.
yeah, it's
Yeah, but
it's becoming a movement.
I mean, it's definitely better than just drinking a Coke. If you ask me, like I would 100% take a tea over a Coca-Cola any day.
But guys, we are arriving to 1 hour, and I would like to ask you: do you have places to recommend? Simo, maybe you can start.
Party that I like in Turku are usually not the one that are in one places that it's here all way around. I prefer like the festival that are here like once a year. So I'm a big fan of Ilmiö that was here last weekend, and last year I was the parties of Tuemu. Bar wise, I really like Ullakko, hidden bar in a ceiling of a place, and when you go there you feel like you're in Paris. Like the decoration is meant to make you believe that you're on the rooftop of Paris. And they have wonderful cocktail. One of the best whiskey sour I've ever drunk in my life was in Ullakko.
Hola.
So yeah, I would recommend Ullakko.
Okay, Daniel.
So I think thinking of the international crowd who might be listening to the podcast, and especially like exchange students or international students that have arrived to Finland, if your interest, for example, is also trying to blend in more with the general population of Turku rather than being inside Haidis, for example, I can recommend places like Rika and Kuka Bar, because I feel
Kuka bar, yeah.
I feel like a lot more people from Turku go to these places. So it's a chance to see new faces and see more things happening outside of what could happen in Hades, Saaristo, which are like the classic go-to for international students. I think you have to give a chance also to these smaller places, or that's where you will most likely meet people who have been in Turku a bit longer, or who have grown up here, basically.
And fun fact, Kuka is owned by the same person as Dynamo.
No.
There you go. I didn't know this.
And I like that they're
You
super art friendly, because I make art. I do drawings myself, and once I got part of the exhibition in Kuka.
Oh,
I'm
congratulations.
discovering every day.
Yeah. And I like that bars like that are also very art friendly and displaying art while you're having your regular beer. It's wonderful.
Okay, we will put Simon's private account about art in the description.
But Robert. Like,
It's a bit of a shame that I didn't mention Duomu earlier, because Duomu existed before Duro. Duomu existed before UG Klubi,
Yes.
And UG Klubi is trying to kind of recreate this rave environment, but it's still a nightclub. So it's still, to me, it's
Very commercial.
So I come from the underground scene, and Duomu is definitely...
What is Tuemu?
So Duomu is an organization full of students, full of electronic music enthusiasts.
the name of Tuemu is actually very funny.
Let me think.
It means Turun yliopiston elektroniikmusiikin ystävien ystävät.
Elektronisen musiikin ystävien ystävät.
Yeah, so
Yes.
so the
That's
friends
good.
the
Very
friends
long.
of the friends of the friends of the electronic music lovers.
That's a cool name.
Of Turku.
Turku University. The
I
friends of the
suppose
friends.
it's friends of friends, because you don't necessarily have to be a student to be involved. So it's very open to everyone,
Yeah, even to internationals.
even to internationals. Yes, and they do.
You're a DJ.
I think they do their social media also in English. They're very,
Yeah.
very open to international people. They organize music events. They collaborate with other organizations, and they have a lot of
Yeah,
fun
and
stuff going like all the time. So
They
Duomu
are
is-
the one I was mentioning earlier when saying that they do these alcohol-free sort of raves and partying.
true.
and
as for like other party venues and such. And Barö, and Kirjakahvila occasionally, I think
Yeah.
they also
I
occasionally
was going to mention
organize
Kirjakahvila.
some type of nightlife events where you can hit the dance floor and have a bit of fun. Even though it's a cafe by day, but it turns into...
Well, it's a wonderful coffee place by day. I basically go there every single day, and it turns into a wonderful quote-unquote nightclub at night when they do organize party. Quite often, actually, with Tuemu, they are collaborating a lot.
I feel that Kirjakahvila is it's a place of activism. It's a place where you also like meet tons of queer individuals, and I think it's a really great place. I think I should even get like more involved. I've been very drawn to Kirjakahvila for years.
Well, I guess they'll be happy to have you as another volunteer.
Yeah, this they will not complain. Okay, but we are going towards the end. Thank you guys for coming today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you
Wonderful
very much
guests.
for having
so
me.
much.
Let's see you in another podcast. But for now, bye bye.
Bye bye, everyone.
Sunny day.